Among Us, the social deduction phenomenon, started with a simple idea, a party game about trust and deception. Inner Sloth, the team behind the game, envisioned a fun experience for friends. They drew inspiration from classic games like Mafia and Werewolf. Among Us aimed to capture that same spirit in a digital format. The initial development process was modest. Inner Sloth, with its limited resources, focused on creating a basic prototype. The first iteration of Among Us was much simpler. It featured only one map and a limited set of tasks. The visual style was also more rudimentary. Despite its humble beginnings, the core of Among Us was there. Players, designated as either crewmates or imposters, had to navigate a spaceship. Crewmates worked together to complete tasks and identify the imposters. Imposters, meanwhile, sabotaged the ship and eliminated crewmates. The tension arose from not knowing who to trust. Every interaction, every accusation could swing the game. Inner Sloth released Among Us in 2018 with little fanfare. Little did they know, Among Us was on the verge of a remarkable turnaround. The initial launch of Among Us was far from a success story. The player base remained small. Inner Sloth, despite their passion for the project, faced a difficult reality. The game wasn't gaining traction. The team considered moving on to other projects. However, Inner Sloth wasn't ready to abandon their creation entirely. They believed in the core concept. They decided to give Among Us one last push. They continued working on the game, adding new content and polishing the gameplay experience. This dedication, though fueled by uncertainty, proved to be a turning point. Little did Inner Sloth know, a much larger audience awaited them. The resurgence of Among Us can be largely attributed to a stroke of luck and the power of streaming. Twitch, the popular live streaming platform, became the unlikely catalyst for the game's meteoric rise. It began with a few streamers discovering Among Us and recognizing its potential. They enjoyed the game's social nature and the unpredictable chaos it created. Viewers were captivated by the streamers' reactions. The thrill of deception, the frantic accusations, and the moments of sheer panic were highly entertaining. As more streamers jumped on board, Among Us rapidly gained momentum. The game's popularity on Twitch exploded. This surge in popularity translated into a massive influx of new players. Inner Sloth's little game that could, against all odds, had found its audience. The impact of Among Us extended far beyond the realm of gaming. It became a full-blown cultural phenomenon, permeating internet culture and beyond. Memes featuring the now iconic crewmates flooded social media platforms. Fan art ranging from adorable doodles to incredibly detailed illustrations showcased the creativity of the Among Us community. Musicians created catchy tunes inspired by the game's suspenseful atmosphere. Among Us transcended language barriers, connecting people worldwide. It became a common ground for social interaction, fostering a sense of community. Deception and deduction, the core of Among Us gameplay. At its heart, Among Us is a game of social deduction, requiring players to utilize their powers of observation, communication, and deception. Players are assigned roles, crewmates or imposters. Crewmates must complete tasks to maintain the spaceship while identifying the imposters. Imposters aim to sabotage the ship and eliminate crewmates without raising suspicion. Communication is key. Players can call emergency meetings to discuss suspicions, present evidence, and vote to eject someone. The ability to lie convincingly is crucial for imposters. Crewmates must rely on deductive reasoning and teamwork to expose the imposters. The element of surprise ensures that no two rounds are the same. Evolving universe. Updates, new content, and community feedback. Inner Sloth has demonstrated a commitment to supporting Among Us and keeping the experience fresh. Since its resurgence, the game has received numerous updates, introducing new content and gameplay mechanics. New maps, such as the airship and the Polis theme map, expanded the game's universe. Inner Sloth actively listens to community feedback, incorporating player suggestions into updates. This collaborative approach has been instrumental in the game's continued success. The future of Among Us. Enduring appeal and esports potential. Among Us, despite its relatively simple premise, has demonstrated remarkable staying power. Its future in the gaming landscape appears bright with potential for continued growth. The game's accessibility is a key factor in its enduring appeal. Its easy-to-understand rules and intuitive controls make it approachable for players of all ages. The social aspect of Among Us is another major draw. Esports is an intriguing avenue for Among Us. Organized competitions could bring a new level of excitement and engagement to the game. Inner Sloth has expressed interest in exploring the esports potential of Among Us. A lasting legacy, social gaming and beyond. Among Us has left an undeniable mark on gaming and popular culture. It has become a social phenomenon, bringing people together in a time when connection and shared experiences are more valuable than ever. The game's legacy lies in its ability to transcend traditional gaming boundaries. It has captured the imaginations of people worldwide, regardless of age or background. Among Us has reminded us of the power of social gaming. It has shown us that games can be more than just entertainment. As Among Us continues to evolve, its impact on social gaming and its place in the hearts of players worldwide are certain to endure.